All right. Okay, folks. Settle yourselves down. It's okay. I am here. It is true. Welcome. Hi. Good to see ya. We're gonna be okay. I am, missing access to my Stream Deck. This is unfortunate, so I can't actually change these scenes very well. But we'll fix that in a second. We're gonna get started here. Welcome in. For those of you who haven't been to a deep dive, this is a deep dive. See how differently it starts from all the other streams? No, it's basically the same. But if you haven't seen one of these before, reactions can get a little bit stale, yeah? Like, I don't know. I did them, and I feel like there's more to do than just watch the video. So I'm kind of wanting to mix the deep dive format with the reactions that we normally do on the stream that I would sometimes post to Space Tomato 2, and instead of just talking about the video, I'm going to bring in other references and stuff to the features that we're looking at during the reaction. So it's still kind of like a deep dive. Thank you for coming here and joining me live. If you're watching this after the fact, maybe join us one of these times. It's good times. We have cookies and water. Water is good. Drink water. But welcome in, everybody. It's Friday. And we got a busy Friday today. For those of you on YouTube, you may have seen we've got 2 scheduled streams. Got one right after the other. So this first one, we're going to do our deep dive. We're going to look at FPS stuff, new weapons coming into the game, all that jazz. And then I'm going to drop off for like 2 times 5 minutes and get set up with my man Casablack Gaming. Runs a YouTube channel, has plenty of Twitter commentary, and plays some Star Citizen. And we're going to talk about this new 3.24 update. The yeah. So that's going to be the podcast that we'll be doing live, just like we do for supporters normally live. This one will be going to Twitch and YouTube, but supporters can still join us in the secret Discord room. Super secret, nobody knows about it. And we'll be doing that probably in about an hour or so. Until then, we've got some FPS stuff to talk about. These new weapons are coming in. We're going to do a little meet the team here, look at the weapons content team and what they're working on. But first, I want to show you some stuff they were talking about when it comes to FPS weapons all the way back in 2019 at CitizenCon. And this is where they kind of laid out their plan for FPS gameplay long term. I don't think they had given us an idea of things like damage types and weapon ratings and all that kind of stuff. But in this little thing that they do, and Richard Tyrer is here, of course, this is kind of where they laid things out. So we're going to play this in a couple minutes, and it's going to be some good information. Then we'll jump into this week's Inside Star Citizen, so you have a little bit more context. But before that, a big thank you to Reese. Whoa, Reese, dude, oh my God, just dropped 20 subs on the chat. Is that what, did you just drop 20 subs and pass the goal on Twitch before we even got started? My dude, thank you. All shouting out all the way from the Bay Area, South Bay Area. Appreciate you, dude. I hope things are well right now. Also helps us, hold the fort down here. So that's just you're just watering the garden, huh? Thank you, man. I appreciate you. So before we get truly into things, let me say my hellos, because I see some wonderful names in chat. Hello, beautiful people. Matt Sully, Zero, Shifty Pedro, Krikos, Tindalin. Hey there. Good to see you. Been watching your journey in Discord. Glad you joined us. Voice Wall, hello. There's no Star Citizen Live this week, but I should have a decent amount of content for you here. Denizen, hey, Microwaves. Holston Coop, Toes Gang. Jared and Nemo and Arcade. Good to see you all. Vastin. Sorry, no dance funky music today for you, buddy, but we'll set something up for next week. A bold new format. Super bold. Bold flavored, bold colored. Way to start the morning off right. Yo, tell me about it. Reese dropping fishes in the chat now. Can we get fishes in the chat? Come on, Twitch. We love that emote. It was a 50% chance of sub and you missed it. Can you join me in Star Citizen when I play? Jump into our org, and I'll actually be playing with them tomorrow if you want to join us on stream. What's up, Data Swarm? How you doing? Daft Digit, good to see you. Anno, my man, welcome in. Okay, so, like I said, we've got some good, relatively old FPS stuff to talk about now. 2016, or no, before 2018, I would be more hesitant to really go in on what they're saying in these videos. But by the time we hit 2019, they had gotten fairly confident in some of this design stuff. I'm not going to say that all of this is exactly the same as they'll present it now, but I do think most of what we're seeing happen in the game now is stuff that they set out around this time. So I think they're still in this direction, maybe some slight differences, but we'll see. Rage, thank you for the bits on Twitch. Got us all almost to a hype train already. What the? All right, let's go. Let's talk about this.
So hey guys, so as Jeremiah said, my name is Richard Tyra. I'm the lead FPS systems designer at Cloud Imperium. And I basically deal with everything that is FPS or character gameplay and all of that kind of thing. So what we're going to talk about today. So first off,
for anybody who wasn't around back in the day, Richard Tyra, he's like up there at CIG now, second or third, in line to make big decisions at Star Citizen. But we've known him for most of this time. I think since around 2019 or 2018, he was hired on as Weapons Content Team or actor feature. I think it was actor features team head or around there, something that has to do with people. So he does have a pretty big background in this, though now he does more general stuff for the game.
We're going to talk about the state of FPS weapons.
Get the volume up for you. Oh, it's not the right browser.
We've got a variety of unique and diverse weapons across the verse. But first off, the first kind of weapons that we added to the PU were kind of like the base weaponry in terms of like your shotguns, your SMGs, the sniper rifles. Basically what you'd expect from a modern day military shooter. Now, obviously because we're a sci-fi game, then we've also got the more exotic weaponry. So, in the last patch, we added the salvo, which is actually, it actually freezes the bullet in a firing mode and provides a fragmentation fire. Then you've got things like the Devastator, which is a charged mode, and then you have Custodian, which is more like a charged burst mode. So we've got kind of these exotic weapons and also these standard base weapons, and together they give us kind of a diverse range of weapons. But what we wanted to do when we come to the weapons is we wanted to make sure that each individual weapon has a reason for it to exist. The art, the audio, the animations, the gameplay, they're all singing off the same hymn sheet. They're all giving you that feel to say, okay, this is why it exists, this is why this weapon, why you want to choose this weapon in the PU. So one of those things is what we've tried to do, and actually what we've been really pushing forward going forward is the manufacturer identity. So, you look at bearing. Bearing is kind of like what the military would use. That's like all about efficiency, all about functionality. They're the ones that are going to actually do the job. Then you've got, say, Gemini. They're all about absolute high-velocity weaponry. They're about getting the bullet to the target as absolutely fast as possible. Then you've got, say, Klausenwerner, which is more specialist in laser technology. And then, say, Kastak, which is all about charged weapons and multiple barrels. So they're all about alpha strike. They see a target, they absolutely unload everything they've got, and then they hope they've hit.
Now, I haven't seen ISC from this week, but from the screenshots and things people have said already about it, I do think that they're going to touch on this stuff again. So remember what he's saying about these companies. See if it's consistent still, 5 years later.
Company, which is a new company that we're going to be bringing in 3.8. In terms of, sorry. Yeah. And they're going to be all about electron damage. So I'll touch on a bit of that in further, but you can see that gives us kind of this unique identity. When you're selecting that weapon, that manufacturer, you know what you're going to get. And then in terms of the art, in terms of the gameplay, like I said, there's a reason for why that weapon exists. And then you've got attachments. Now, attachments kind of sit on top. They're the things that allow you to either further specialize or diversify. You want to put a 2 and 3 times hollow on a shotgun? Great. That means you've got a bit more range, a bit more accuracy. You want to put a red dot sight on a sniper rifle? Sure, you can do. You'll lose out in terms of the long range, but it allows you to use it more short range. And that attachments allow you to provide a bit more specialty that we've added the last couple of patches. And then when you take into account, say, a variety of damage types that we have in terms of the physical weaponry, in terms of ballistics, we've got energy, distortion, and chemical, and they're all kind of broken down again. So energy has the laser weaponry. So laser's really more a quick firing, but lower damaging than, say, to ballistics. Plasma's going to have damage over time effect and leave behind a damage so that, it can be area of denial. Then you've got, say, electron damage, which is a lightning bolt company specialist. That's going to provide electromagnetic damage and also stun damage, which will tie into the melee system that we're bringing live. And then you've got, say, tachyon, which is going to be obviously faster than light. And then you're looking at the more really specialist in terms of distortion, which is obviously really relevant, more relevant for ships. But we're actually, as you'll see throughout this talk...
This is something, and again, maybe they talk about this today. This is something I think they're really going to have to start getting into soon, especially with this kind of stuff. EMP damage, quantum interdiction, with the quantum travel rework, with master modes, with engineering coming on, with charge and drain they're talking about in 4.0, we're going to have to start having a lot more like communication around these things. What the heck's going on with my ship? Why isn't it working? Is it a glitch or is my power being drained out? But I think we're mostly past the relevant part of this. I do want to touch on another Inside Star Citizen that they had around the same time here. They showed us off some of the stuff that we were going to see soon, TM. Check this out.
So I personally wanted to work on these non-lethal FPS weapons and tools for a long time. I've personally written a lot of the design documentation that goes alongside them for like a long time ago, so I've been dying for these things to come out, and I've seen a couple of them going through the concept phases, and I'm sat there itching, waiting for it to come in, and I'm looking at the roadmap myself. But ultimately, there's not much point in us putting these things out without the underlying systems being there. Now, all that said, teams have now started work on systems like medical, charge and drain, breaching, salvage. So now is a perfect time to start developing these weapons and tools to go alongside the systems.
Okay, so you may have caught a couple. We've gotten most of these. I mean, there's a multi-tool salvage attachment. You got the health tool here. FPS tractor beam. This is 2021. We got this stuff last year. This took like 2 to 3 years to get in. I think this is one of the only things we haven't seen yet. This just got added too, didn't it?
The standalone cutting tool, which
the cutter?
Is the bigger, badder, better version of the multi-tool cutter.
Right away, you can see that family DNA that's shared between.
I feel like we got this added, but it doesn't really do anything. Maybe I'm wrong though. And then we got these door breaching charges, which, you know, we still haven't heard about these, but I'm sure they're still working on this kind of stuff.
So with this one,
this is gonna be great for
remains quite small.
Getting on ships.
It is you can stick it onto a surface.
So you'll be able to take this out, put it down, it'll deploy on the surface, and the breaching charge is purely meant to bust through doors.
And it's pulling on some of the bearing styling that we did for things like the grenade and some of the more recent weapons, maybe like the LMG. So we're getting more of that polymer. Yeah, it's just always sort of maintaining that balance of polymer versus metal versus how many bolts. Again, keep that family DNA.
So something that doesn't necessarily link in, but I am very excited to talk about, is the Utaflex crossbow.
So I think I hear we're getting a look at this
one today. The
Utaflex
crossbow probably is one of my favorite weapons in a long time, actually.
It's very different to any weapon that we've ever done before.
And also, it's essentially a new company.
It's going to be our best stealth weapon available. So while the radar and scanning systems pick up on IR, EM, and audio as well, this thing will essentially fly under the radar and all of those. So it's your weapon that you will be using if you want to stay stealthy. And it just looks so cool.
This design, yeah, I really love it, and the fact that Nick has been able to figure out how to get all the functionality that's required by design, the key beads, the reloading, it's a cartridge, the arrow has to expand once it's loaded, it has to compress to a certain size in terms of the overall length of the weapon. It's got to look badass, and I would say, call me crazy, I think we've nailed it on this. I think the art team did a really awesome job of building it as well.
So those are just a few of the FPS weapons and tools that we've been working on. We are so excited to be working on them now and developing these systems. So I'm sure you'll hear more about how these systems work in the future, and we can't wait to get them in your hands and have you playing with them.
So there's that look. I unfortunately cannot find I've been trying to find the first reveal of the Volt Parallax weapons, and I just can't find a single link of the video. I know they showed it in Inside Star Citizen, but all I'm getting is the new video that just came out today. which is not what I want. I'm not testing server meshing today. I got my podcast scheduled for today, so no server meshing for me. Monthly report, no. Yeah, let me not uninclude you from this search. So usually what I do is I just kind of find wherever it's been posted, usually from like back in the day. Did these? Yeah, these were definitely featured in Inside Star Citizen. Why is it not popping up? I'm only getting, see, here we go. I swear it was this shot. But no, I cannot find this sneak peek. As you can see though, this is 4 years ago that we were getting it. This is 2020. So, people have been waiting a while for this. As with a lot of the things that we saw around that period. 2019 to 2021, lots of things started around that time as teams began to actually get their together. And no, I'm kidding. I'm kidding with them. There were different things that were stopping that from happening, but ultimately I think a lot of stuff started around that time that was a lot more driven than any time before that, and that's why we're seeing a lot of it now kind of finish up and give us something more to look at, more to use. We'll see if these are actually going to come anytime soon though. 323.2 going to just be 324. Yes, that's what the podcast today is about actually. Hey, thank you for the sub, Denizen Microwave. Appreciate you. You guys are awesome on Twitch. Just knocked it out of the park starting off today, Reese. A real one. You just want the shoulder-fired laser repeater that was on one of the devs' monitors? Well, let's see about that. Let's get into the episode.
Back to Inside Star Citizen, the only weekly behind-the-scenes docuseries showcasing the faces, features, and forward progress being forged in the first-person universe of Star Citizen. I'm your host, Jared Huckabee. Now, with Alpha 323 recently out, testing ongoing for the 323.2 cargo and hangar patch, and development turning its full attention to the upcoming major milestone that is Alpha 4.0 later this year, we're in one of those periods of ISC production where we like to experiment with the means and manner of the stories we tell. Because like the developers making the very game that we're covering, we want to try new things and new ways of doing what we do. So for the next 3 weeks, ISC will be a bit different than you might normally expect. That means we're going to spend a little...
They do this sometimes. Last year we had a couple episodes where they were highlighting more of the team. The idea of ISC has always been to get into the development process, which does mean the people too. And I like when they talk about the people, as long as it's also still intertwined with the actual game being developed, because this is the real way we get regular updates on this stuff. I also like that we only had that 2 week off, right? That was just 2 weeks off of ISC, which is the way they've changed the format for this year. I'm not exactly, I don't remember if they said why, but it gives us more episodes, and I guess it does allow them to be more structured based on whatever is coming up in the next update. So we'll see what they do here. But it sounds like this would be, I imagine this is going to be 4.0 stuff, maybe some 3.24. Maybe they'll give us some of that.
Little more time than normal getting to know the folks themselves as opposed to just what they're working on. Things like asking the UK networking team to film a sort of dev diary on those major server meshing tests from earlier this year. Chat with the level design team to discuss their process and how they're taking all those things they learned in Stanton and applying it to Pyro. And this week, getting to know some folks specializing in the implements of first-person destruction. Now, of course, the ISCs that are driven by specific feature and content work will still continue after this short detour. But we hope that you'll indulge us once again in our effort to share some more personalized stories for the next few weeks. And then, of course, we'll be back with the big flashy stuff soon enough. And don't forget, CitizenCon is just 4 months away. 4 months away.
Yeah, so are you really going to be back with flashy stuff if CitizenCon's coming up?
Let's do one.
You have enough content to do that?
So that's enough of me. Let's meet the first of 3 teams over 3 weeks that don't often get the ISC spotlight in a feature that we like to call Meet the Team Weapon Content Team.
Okay, so it does sound like this isn't a specifically next patch kind of thing. So I won't assume this stuff's coming in 4.0, but hopeful.
Meet the Weapon Content Team. Good old WCT. Let's just meet them.
Why have you avoided the camera in the last 5 years?
I
a bit nervous.
How long ago did you start here?
8 months ago.
8
Almost
months ago?
9, yeah.
How's it been?
It's been great. I like it.
You've been on
How
Spectrum?
many of these do you think you've done at this point? I can't keep track.
This is the 5th.
This is the 5th one? Do you like doing these?
Yes, because I'm an attention seeker.
There's definitely more lights than I was expecting, to be fair, but it's pretty bright. A little nervous, yeah.
I used to be a life model before I came here, so...
Just feel what?
Life model. So once you've had people draw you naked, it's pretty hard to get awkward around anything.
Not nervous at all?
That's fair.
Not really, no. Not too bad.
Cool.
Depends what the questions are.
How prepared are you for this?
I have been in meetings since I walked in, and I have done nothing up until today.
He's been on so many things. It's no problem for him. CIG Harry Potter. You're a citizen, Harry.
Bill! Bill, be quiet! The microphone's right there! The microphone's right there in front of your mouth.
All right, I'm interested in this. FPS gameplay has taken a step up this year. I don't care what you say. Maybe you don't like a crosshair. That's fine. But the quality of FPS in this game has absolutely taken a step up this year. So I'm looking forward to hearing, hopefully, some details about the finer things that they're trying to get working. Audio's feeling better. The physical feeling of the guns, better. I've always liked that Star Citizen has so much variety between brands, so much brand identity. You might not like the brands, you might not like the guns or the designs they use, but it is very, very nice to be able to pick something up and be like, oh, I know what company this is from. Oh, I've done delivery missions for that company. Like, it builds, I guess it's mostly a lore kind of thing, but I think it builds a lot into what people want to do in a game. Like, you want to get guns from a certain company because you like maybe that company, what they do, or you like the way their guns fire. I like the way Gemini guns fire. It's good fun. So all of that combined gets me a lot more excited for FPS Weapons than I was even like 6 months ago. So looking forward to this.
Aren't we a spaceship game?
We're definitely a spaceship game, but a core aspect of that is definitely the FPS side of it as well. A lot of our players enjoy flying around the spaceships, but they also enjoy the aspect of being able to be boots on the ground and exploring the world from the first-person perspective.
More so.
The Weapon Content Team are the team that are responsible for any weapon you see in-game, pretty much.
It's the team that creates the artwork and animation for Star Citizen and Squadron 42.
We make really cool-looking guns. Lots of guns.
Hey, got some tattoos in there. Yeah.
Melee weapon.
The guns sound way better. Everybody who was at CitizenCon, I don't think I will ever forget the gun demos they played at CitizenCon. I don't go to places where gunfire is just played for your pleasure over the speakers. So that was like one of the first times I've been in a room where heavy caliber weapons were being simulated firing over massive speakers that are taller than me. And we were in the corner. So that was a good feeling. Made me feel really, really lame to come back to my headphones. Jesus.
Headphones. FPS weapons, large, capital size turret weapons, fire extinguishers, multi-tools.
We're just a group of
Wait, was
people-
that cutting? Is that supposedly cutting that he was doing there?
Multi-tools.
I think it is. I think this is meant to be. They talk about how there's going to be a material in this game that can be cut wherever you see it. There are other games where that's the thing. My favorite feature like this is Mirror's Edge. Everywhere you can go, they paint red, or where you should go. So this is probably made of that material that's meant to be cut. You can see there was one over here too. That'll probably be here for 4.0. It says cutter on the multi-tool screen. Well, there you go.
We're just a group of people that just, I guess, find firearms is the most interesting part of the 3D art space.
So it's called Meet the Team. So let's start where content starts and meet Alberto.
Tell me about Alberto.
I like spaceships.
He's not wrong.
I started
Why are you working on guns then?
Mixed role in a little company in Germany called Egosoft, and there I was doing spaceships, both 3D and both concept. Then I moved here because I was always very passionate of the universe of Star Citizen.
His pathway is just insane. I think he designed, luxury yachts or something, so yeah.
So yachts, planes, everything that was not a car, basically.
Alberto is an incredible...
I mean, some of the boats the ships kind of look like yachts. Get this man over an Origins design firm.
concept artist. The concept artist kind of facilitates the development of the idea.
We get the brief, the words, and we translate it to something visual. In my opinion, that's the
What
most
is that? Are
creative.
those mines? Are they just showing us shots of mines in
Get
design?
the brief, the words, and we translate it to something visual.
What is that supposed to be? It looks like a mine, for sure. And it would make sense if mines expanded in space, because like space be big. But I didn't even talked about mines at all. I wouldn't even think they were coming near. I guess Squadron 42 will have them.
In my opinion, that's the most creative part.
Alberto's great. I mean, he's a pleasure to work with. I've only had really good experiences talking to him.
What is that?
Great. I mean, he's a...
What the flippity f***? Dude, that looks sick. Wait a second. What in the world is that? Is that even from a company we know? Is this from the game? Is this from a different game? Gravity Utility. Oh yeah, I think this is from a different game.
I mean, he's...
Gravity Utility Maintenance. Is this... Why are they showing us this? It's on ArtStation. We could probably go find it. Hold on, let's see if we could find that. American ArtStation, Gravity Utility Maintenance. There it is! Found it! Alright, what is this? Introducing the... Yeah, this doesn't look like it is meant for Star Citizen. I think this is a proof of concept kind of thing. It looks sick. It looks a little spiffy. It's a duct tape gun. Cave Utility Management. That would actually be, I mean, hey, I don't know what you need cave utility management for. I guess this. Cool, you got to patch up some bullet holes. That'd be engineering to another level. Interesting, though. That thing looks nice.
He's a pleasure to work with. I've only had really good experiences talking to him. He provides so little friction.
It's the Drake repair tool. Every company's coming out with their own, and that's just what you get.
When working with him, he's genuinely really good at what he does. He does a lot of the problem solving for you.
What's your relationship like with Alberto?
90% pranks.
Understand what?
Pranks.
Pranks?
Yes.
Like what?
Flipping the screen from each other, like changing the sensitivity of the mouse when he just turn around, something like that.
We really have to fight this guy. Is that a productive use of your time, Samuel?
If I do it fast, yeah.
I mean, but he's like, they're open at the office. I can't tell if this is like, yeah, this is the stuff that he's made, or they're like, this could be in the game. I don't know what their plans are for tools. I showed you the video here, whatever video that was. We closed it. Whatever video we looked at earlier that had those different tools that we saw, that's all we've seen of handheld tools. So I have no idea if this is even concept work related to the game. Tattoos!
Samuel's one of our newer concept artists in the company. He is very excited about the project and very passionate about everything that we do as a company.
How do you think other people see San Brito?
Oh, that's a great question.
There's so many things here. What's that? Brother. What's that, brother?
How do you think other people see San Brito?
Oh, that's a great question.
I would say he have this positive vibe to him. You know, he's the doctor.
Sam is fun, getting better and better. He's super young, super talented.
That looked like a plasma
Absolute bundle
gun.
of joy from a different culture, coming from Venezuela. Lots of interesting stories and really approachable, and just overall the same things I say about Alberto. I can go to him, I can talk about what he's working on, and the concepts he provides are of an extremely high quality.
He's really keen
Kind
to
of reminds
start
me
working
of
and get a little bit
one
more
of the rifles from Cyberpunk a little bit.
rather than just the vehicles. Every time we mention it, he's like, oh, can I do it? Can I do it? So yeah, he's super excited about it, which is great. I always kind of think that the more passionate people are about the subject they're working on, the better the results you're going to get. Great. I always kind of think that
What do I do with that?
The more passionate people are about the subject they're working on, the better the results you're going to get.
Hey, Vinny, where'd you get that shirt?
This is... God. Let's go to the other browser. Sorry.
Cool and shiny, but...
I have no idea where I was. Sorry, I was on my Space Tomato account, which does not have premium.
We've got Alexi, who's our weapons lead. He joined us a year and a half ago, I want to say.
Whoops. Jeez. Sorry, guys.
Great addition to the team.
I decided to work on the video games because I always wanted to help people, not necessarily when they're already ill.
Whoa. Is that a cutter tool? It's like a... That's like a small cutter tool. They're making small versions of the big tools in addition to the multi-tool version? What? This supposed to be an SMG? Gray Cat makes they make what? They make weapons? Oh, okay. Well, that's new to me. Wow. Is that like DeWalt coming out with a rifle? Yes, I'll take the Bosch burst pistol. Thank you.
Because I have a medical degree, but it never worked out for me because
it's a makeshift put together. Like they just used like they completely put the gun together with Gray Cat parts. That'd be sick, pirates. Good job. Y'all got the smarts. Just maybe put them to better use. Baron Earth, thank you for the sub, by the way.
Medical degree, but it never worked out for me because down the line, I decided that I wanted to bring happiness and not cure the aftermath of it.
Did you know
aftermath of bullets?
Degree to be a doctor?
The happiness of bullets, rather.
What? No, I didn't know. I guess I'd like him to be my doctor. I'd probably trust him.
I really enjoyed the video games, like almost anyone. But at some point, it struck me that real people do them, and I just started to look around and see what I can do, how I can start to make video games, and that's how I ended up as a 3D artist.
Yo, look at how many different freaking guns we're seeing.
Has a really good eye for stuff that you can so easily miss. Like he'll pick out stuff I can't even see.
Since he's joined in, the optimization of our work has just flown through the roof. He's a really valuable member of the team, and I definitely consider him a friend. He's a really nice guy.
He's created quite a driving force for the team across both our projects.
Alexi is okay at table tennis.
Just okay?
Yeah, he's okay.
We've got Talon.
I'm one of the key weapon artists here, so I work on creating the 3D models and creating the weapons, the gadgets, hand grenades, and every other kind of thing you can think of that the player might use in the FPS aspect of the game.
Talon, what I say, is a super...
Okay, you guys keep calling him Space Harry Potter. That's Daniel Radcliffe, right? That's not Elijah Wood. I always get them confused. I don't remember who it is, but my friends got this picture with, I think it was either Elijah Wood or Daniel Radcliffe. It's terrible that I get them confused. They got a picture with him at like 2012 Comic-Con, and it's all I think of when I see anybody who looks like him. So I keep seeing this guy and just imagine my friends. They were all in like a bunch of very scandalous outfits. So it was like, maybe this guy, PR-wise, didn't want to take that picture. And so that's just what pops into my head. Sorry, buddy. That's, you know, when you look like somebody that's that famous, gets you.
Super passionate weapons artist. He, he's big into sort of airsoft and milsim and that side of things.
The fountain of all knowledge when it comes to weaponry.
I don't think there's anyone that knows more about guns than Talon's.
Does it operate correctly? Where does it take its influences from? And I think that's really important.
He's just a great person to have on the team, nice and approachable, and always up for a bit of a laugh. And joining him.
That's a new grenade type.
Ben as well, laugh. And
sounds
joining him
good
is Ben as
too.
well, who's another artist too.
That sounded great.
What do you think other people say about you?
I'm very quiet, so I'm not sure.
Definitely the life of the party, which you wouldn't expect noticing, but after a few drinks, he's definitely the circle of attention.
He's been a great addition to the team. He's technically our newest member of the team, but he's still been here a couple of years.
I'd say in some ways his artwork is quite sometimes better than mine. He really knows his way around Blender.
He has such a keen eye for details on the weapon.
You can just kind of throw anything at him and know that you're going to get a really solid result out of it.
Oh, dude. That looks like a game. just shooting. It's
Out of it.
That gun looks so nice. Actually kind of reminds me of some of the Cyberpunk guns a little bit.
Result out of it.
I think I said that about an earlier one too. I don't know what it is. Obviously Cyberpunk didn't invent guns, but maybe it's the more kind of put together design style, and that's a game I played recently, so it comes back to me. You know what game I really miss with guns? Resistance, the Resistance series on PlayStation. I think it's Insomniac. Those people make good freaking guns in their games. I hope to see more guns like that. Some curious styles in this one. Yeah, it does have some Borderlands vibes to it too. I like that. It also looks like they're making a lot of room for attachments.
We've got Joel. Originally, I hired Joel as a prop artist.
Get out of here.
Probably close to 8 years ago.
I create the artwork for FPS devices, which includes weapons, gadgets. I also make ship weapons.
Joel's actually the most senior member of the team and was there when I first joined. He was an extremely helpful person to encounter.
Very easygoing, super knowledgeable, always has a pun ready.
He has some really strange...
Holy crap. These look like what are they, Omniski? No. What is that weird white weapon? Looks a little Origin in style. And it gosh, I don't know how I'd find it. I don't know weapons. This looks like a kit bashed version of those. Like a pirate version. This looks sick. Is it NDB? Is that what they're called? Distortion repeaters? Let's see. Let us see. Okay, wait. I can explain this. This is from the video that I just put out. There's a part where I say butt really loud, so I put this emoji on the screen. Now I just, in the middle of my stream, pulled up a bunch of butt emojis. Okay. NDBs. No, that's not them. It's a different one. Don't know if we will, I don't know if I'm going to be able to find that. But these look like another version of them, kind of. Hey, a likely story you can go on to the video and watch, huh? It's a marketing ploy.
Knowledgeable, always has a pun ready.
He has some really strange t-shirts. Every other day he comes in with a new t-shirt with something weird on it, and I'm a bit jealous because every time I see them, I kind of wish I'd had.
Hey, that's almost a tomato.
I like t-shirts. This one, it's The Simpsons. Everyone likes The Simpsons, right?
What about your producer?
Oh yeah, don't let me forget Kieran. He's Mr. Getting things done and getting things done on time, so he's brilliant.
I quickly realised I didn't want to be an artist or a programmer. I started out in level design, and then I found out that my passion was the team.
Without Kieran, there wouldn't be weapon content because he's the guy who glue it all together, you know.
Well, that's good.
Eats a lot of eggs. Brings in about 4 eggs a day or something like that, so. That's the only bad thing I can think about Kieran.
See, this is the nuts part of having a game like this, where you have a space sim kind of game with flying spaceships, but you have a whole massive FPS weapons team because there's an entirely different part of the game. Oh dear. Sorry, little drunk over here on coke. You have an entirely different part of the game that doesn't depend on spaceships that you have to have people be really good at making, come from different studios and stuff. that were completely dedicated to that and have nothing to do with Space Sims before. It's also why a lot of fans come into this game from other games that aren't Space Sims or MMOs. I don't know about all of you, but I'm more of a first-person FPS or RPG player from consoles. Like, I come from Halo and BioShock and Assassin's Creed and Mass Effect. And then I'll have some friends that come from like DCS and Elite Dangerous. Another friend comes from the Sims. Like, it's crazy how much diversity there is in this game that they need all these teams. But that's why there's over 1,000 devs working on these 2 games right now.
So next up is our animator, Jordan. He couldn't make it into the office today, but we love him and he's great. I mean, I've been working with Jordan for years on the weapon. Since I took over, he was always there.
Jordan have a really shiny personality. He's the one person that you can reach out with anything related to animation. He is here to support you.
Always has a lot of like stories and anecdotes.
He's also a little bit scary because he knows where everyone lives, and it's unclear when he gets or how he gets the information he does. But when you join the team, within the first few weeks, maybe the first few months, he knows exactly where you are on Google Maps.
What?
For that reason, he is terrifying.
Yet he can't be here to film for this.
No.
He's probably mapping
Jordan,
out your
would you be there
houses.
for this? We really need you. Where are you, John?
He's been set up.
And I'm Ben, the art director. And that's
We know
enough about
Ben.
me, so let's look at some weapons we've been working on.
I
We've got
like
quite a
that,
few
Ben.
weapons that are being worked on. We can talk about a couple of them today. So first up, we're going to talk about the PAAR.
PAAR is a assault rifle that may fill the role of someone that wanted something bigger from bearing manufacturer.
Up until now, it's been our squadron exclusive rifle. In fact, I've had backers come up to me saying, please release the PAAR.
If this thing fires in a single shot version, I might take this over an S71. I do enjoy bearing. Looks
and really
good.
what we want to do is take that P8 base and do a version that we were was slightly more tailored towards the civilian market.
A lot bigger and a little bit longer than the current P4AR, and personally, one of my favorite weapons that we've ever worked on.
It is kind of more in line with civilian needs, so it's had a little bit of lightning done to it. It's had some of the more aggressive visuals tidied up a touch.
We did a redesign of the stock.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of the DMR from Halo a little bit. Just like, I mean, the S71 does too, but that's more just like size and style that they're going for. Bearing definitely has more of a, I think, a style that looks like Halo. S71 almost looks like a gun from Ghost Recon, but Bearing is clean. I hope we see a new Castac weapon today.
Variants done for the consumer market.
Why not just put the one from Squadron in?
The honest answer is we want to kind of hold that back for Squadron, I guess. It is one of the main weapons you use throughout the campaign, and we still want that to feel unique and special. It's one of the things that we do kind of want to hold back as a bit of a hero experience. It is the standard issue, I think is the correct way of saying it, military weapon, the UEE. It's a workhorse, it's reliable, it's functional, and it just gets the job done.
Why did that?
It's a workhorse.
Why does the sprint look different? Is this like a Squadron 42 build or something?
The standard issue, I think is
Doesn't the player movement look a little different here?
correct way of saying it. Military weapon, the UEE. It's a workhorse, it's reliable, it's functional.
Maybe
it just
not.
gets the job done.
Maybe it's the post-processing. Ah!
So the Volt Rifle is another new weapon that we're releasing in the PU. A brand new manufacturer for the weapon content team. Volt are a electric and beam ammunition type, using electric batteries to power their weapons.
They're very techy. They feel very professionally homemade. It's not thrown together, but also it's not professionally manufactured.
This is the manufacturer who relies on cheap produced goods, but they still wanted it to look cool and shiny, but they are not really reliable in terms of
3,000 ampere hours? Jesus.
long-term use.
We wanted
Exposure to device may cause death.
a manufacturer where people could use these weapons and then they could also repair and upgrade and kind of, they look like you would be able to strip them down and kind of field repair them, or work in your workshop in your ship, or in your habs or wherever, and kind of really get into the nitty-gritty of how these weapons work. So there's a lot of visual cues to that with, like how the screen attaches, all the little kind of fittings and screws and how it all kind of comes together, that it visually is something quite nice and exciting, I think.
there's anything like this in a PU as of now, this will suit more of the guys who wanted to show off rather than to be military-style weapons. You will have some shiny, cool guns that you can show to your friends and say, there, I did it. This is a really cool-looking gun.
Oh, geez, I forgot it shot regular just shots. I thought it was just a beam, but at first it shoots.
This is a really cool-looking gun.
I've always been a little bit opposed to very big flashy lasers and electricity on firearms. I think it can drift away from my idea of traditional firearm. But I think working within the confines of what Volt as manufacturer are, being a home-built kit that you could order online, supposedly, of what Volt as manufacturer are, being a home-built kit that you could order online, supposedly, and manufacture yourself, I think really fits into the idea of it.
Okay, so the beam part looks a little iffy. Like, I've always had a weird feeling about beams in games because of the way that the hitbox works, but this looks so cool when it's firing like a normal gun.
That you could order online, supposedly, and manufacture yourself, I think really fits into the idea of it being more of a fun ammunition type.
This is still work in progress. But
Also got that plasma rifle animation when it overheats.
Oh, so the Pyro SMG, this is something very different to any of our mainstream manufacturers.
A very small handheld submachine gun, similar to, I think, a real-world example would be a Tech 9.
And the whole idea with this kind of pyro weapon theme is that these things have been made by just people living on the fringes of the universe. They've used whatever they can get their hands on to make something that works for them.
Imagine Mad Max type of gun that was scraped.
See, dude, this is just. Imagine if Pyro did come out 3 years ago. How much worse would it be? Look at how much they've been able to build the narrative. Like, we're not even talking about the planets, the space stations, the factions. Like, they're getting all the way down to the specific aspects of each gun. The gun they're using here is made from parts, and this part, this yellow part, I asked if it was the cutting tool earlier, because the cutting tool is looks like this. Give me a good shot of it. You see this? It's got the same it's got that same sort of design, right? The little cross thingies, whatever. The background of these tools, the original one is called the Pyro multi-tool, I think it is, was made, and the creation of that tool has to do with the star system we're going into. And just seeing how much they're able to tie the lore into the way they're designing these things, into the way we're supposed to believe this star system works. And it's like, what the heck would have happened if this system had come out 3 years ago? It would have been such bare bones. And it's both, it's a good thing that like it waited, but it's also very disappointing that that's how the system was planned on releasing. Just, it doesn't matter what you ask them to call it or when you ask them to release it, it will be a certain style or a certain level of quality, no matter what, depending on how much time they put into it. I'm sure whatever Pyro we might get in 3 years of server meshing took 3 more years would be incredible. So it's cool that we're getting such an upgraded version from what we would have gotten if server meshing was ready in 2021. But at the same time, the fact that Pyro was going to be that in 2021, this is cool. I'm happy to see this kind of stuff.
Pyro weapon theme is that these things have been made by just people living on the fringes of the universe. They've used whatever they can get their hands on to make something that works for them.
Imagine Mad Max type of gun that was scraped with everything that you can find around.
Sort of break the art conventions that we've been working with for the last...
See that heads-up display on it?
Years.
Internally, we call them non because they doesn't have any manufacturer.
It's made by a guy named Steve.
Yeah, you can say so.
The fact that it's very compact and small allows you to hook very tightly on corners, giving yourself a very low exposure when peeking corners or peeking over cover. And has an extremely high rate of fire, so very good for those really close encounters, but I wouldn't be using it at long ranges due to the lack of a stock.
They're really quite cool weapons to work on and look forward to.
It's literally the cutting tool. Literally. Bro, what?
Using maybe more in the future.
Oh, God.
Where the hell is my crossbow?
Do you know what? Chris brought a crossbow up recently. He was like, "Are we going to finish it?" And I'm like, "Well, it's kind
This crossbow's got an interesting story. I believe it's a cross promotion from a different game from a while back.
of there. There was one. I think there was one thing stopping us with the way the bolts interacted with stuff that we couldn't do at the time.
The fabled crossbow is an asset that we did in the weapons.
Is that them messing around? Dude, I don't even freaking know. Is it the actual gun or is it is it supposed to be the freaking cutter? I don't know. Whatever it is, make it play good.
Content team have been trying to get pushed out for a long time now.
At the point of creation this crossbow, it was decided that the bolt needs to stuck when you fire them and not disappear like any other bullet. And this prevented the release of the crossbow because we cannot consistently make the bolts stuck.
It's just a super advanced, cool-looking crossbow. It's got these really cool, like, deploying bolts in it because obviously, we don't really want to carry around these massive, great big kind of quiver of arrows. So it's got these really nice kind of compact little bolts that load into it.
Adding more unique firearms and ways to take out enemies silently is something that the game would definitely benefit from. And so seeing...
Dude, I can't believe I'm actually seeing this thing fire. It's just insane how long we've been waiting for so many of these things. I'm surprised I'm seeing this work in engine. That's cool. Doesn't sound very quiet. Hopefully they have a version of it where it doesn't overload an arrow with electricity, so you can use this as a really nice stealth weapon, because that's loud.
To take out enemies silently is something that the game would definitely benefit from, and so seeing the crossbow come out into the PU would
silently
be something that made me extremely happy, and I know a lot of the players have been asking me about this too.
Not directly involved with weapon content, but still working on the weapons.
It's placeholder? Yeah, I mean, we can assume everything here will be placeholder or something that's going to be changed up to play well in the game. So it could very well have a nice silent firing mode. That one that they showed certainly wasn't.
Audio guys and VFX guys, we're working with them directly, and they make our gun shines and sings.
I'll have done my part of the artwork, it'll have gone down the production line, and a few months later I'll bring it into the editor just to remind myself.
There it is. That's it actually firing.
It'll have gone down the production line.
Yeah, okay, cool. So it's definitely not a cutting tool laser.
And a few months later I'll bring it into the editor just to remind myself of what I worked on, and I'll shoot it and hear some incredible audio and be like, oh wow, someone's gone all out on this one.
They're a downstream team that, much like animation, it really brings to life this otherwise static and fairly boring object.
Their work is incredible. I've tried to tell them at some point I want to see them add the Lead Pipe 01 sound effect into the game, but I've yet to get an approval on that one.
Game development is a group effort. When it comes out great, it's just a miracle at some point of a lot of people involved into it.
You know, it is still a first-person game, and...
Man, I love the freaking view that you get when you're inspecting guns in this. They made that look so nice.
Of a lot of people involved into it.
You know,
it's beautiful. How many thumbnails are going to use this view in the future when we start getting more of the people who like play these Let's Play, and they all kind of have the same sort of thumbnail style where there's like a hand on the screen and then a gun shooting and then like a couple things in the distance.
Thank you very much.
So many... I'm going to do a thumbnail with that. That looks so nice. Warren, thank you for the memberships on YouTube. A friend of the garden. Appreciate you, buddy. I hope you're having a good one, enjoying the stream. This gun looks sick.
You know, it is still a first-person game, and I think that, you know, the work we do is important.
Oh, this is a different one. It's just a beam. I wonder if this is the SMG. It looks so cool! This is the part of the game I'm more excited for. I'm sorry, people who fly spaceships. I love the FPS for person.
You know, it is still a first-person game, and I think that, you know, the work we do is important. I hope we're a significant part of your interaction with Star Citizen.
I do enjoy it when, you know, I see people having fun and, you know, enjoying the weapons we've created and put into the, you know, the Star Citizen universe. There's a big community of people that take, you know, like in-game captures and screenshots and stuff, and seeing people take pictures of your work is really nice.
Wow.
I would like people to know that the feedback they give us, especially on our team, means a whole lot.
When we see a comment come up about something with the firearms that people might not like, we do take that on board. If it's not applied to the weapon they're speaking about, we'll try and avoid it on future ones. We're always learning.
And if there has been a weapon that you really enjoy using, or is your favourite weapon, then please do let us know in the comments, because the team will love to hear that sort of feedback.
Man.
With our recent releases, you've seen a whole bunch of updates to how the weapons feel, how they function, and really bring some of those quality.
Okay, that's a really cool camera angle.
Updates to.
That's a good idea for one. Maybe I'll do that when I start being able to record more. Want to thank you for the content. You can leave it on, not worry about small kids stumbling in to hear how you talk. I try to keep it family friendly. Like 3 years ago, somebody said that they put the streams and videos on like in the morning when they're eating breakfast and the family's around, and I'm like, that's cool. I want to be able to inform people and give people content when they're doing that. This comes in handy. I got you.
How the weapons feel, how they function, and really bring some of those quality and life improvements to the weapons as a whole. And that's just taken a lot of hard work from the weapons department as a whole.
What is that? I love how much more creative these are getting.
Department, art, design, animation, audio, VFX, like the whole lot. And they've not had a great deal of limelight in these sort of events, but they're super dependable, and I'm very happy to kind of be able to get to talk about them today.
I just would like to see more videos of these guns shooting, please.
So what did we learn this week? Well, hopefully we learned a lot more about the people that make up the current iteration of the Weapon Content Team. That there's a whole host of new weapons
that was the dead rig?
making their way into the persistent universe. And that spaceships, of course, may dominate the conversation a lot of the time. But there's plenty of other ways to bring damage, death, and destruction to the universe of the first person being built. For Inside Star Citizen, I'm Jared Huckabee. Thanks for letting us share the people and process of game development with you. And we'll see you all here next week.
Cool. That was a solid freaking episode. We didn't get specifics. They didn't tell us anything about the stuff we were seeing, which is a bummer because now we can't assume anything of any of this stuff. But this is a cool episode. I liked seeing these guns. They're cool guns. This last part, I mean, I loved hearing about the team, but this last part, these are some cool guns. And I see what you're saying about watch till the end. All right, we'll go back to it. I see what you're saying about the design, getting away from what the game, looked like before. But I would say it's good to, keep in mind that those brands will still stick to their designs. So you'll see some of the stuff get probably a little bit more creative, a little more weird and out there, but we'll still have the basics from Bearing or Hurston or any of those other boys. God, imagine. Pico is heartless, man. That could have been non-lethal, Pico. You could have put him down and taken him in. He said, no. I want him dead and cold. Or just like non-existent because that explosion was massive. So yeah, I'm curious as to what the plans are for the stuff we just saw. Seems like a lot of it is probably 4.0. Because it was very pyro themed, and I think they're looking to do a pretty big content drop with pyro, but it might be stuff that comes in the following updates, so we will see. The arrow sound was different. Yeah, that was definitely added in after. I'm so pumped. The FPS gameplay is I gotta start playing this with controller and see how it feels. That is something that is deep for me. I'm not like one of the hardcore milsim folks. I didn't come from Arma. No Squad, no Tarkov. I respect those games. I think they are really cool games, what they do. But that wasn't me. I was very much an arena shooter player. I played Unreal Tournament, Halo, Modern Warfare 2, Games like that. And the more they build out these guns, the more I see it kind of moving into a direction that looks like an actual one of those shooters. Not in the sense that it's becoming more designed like those shooters, just I can see that feeling leaking into the gameplay of more smoothness, better animations, better gun choices, better looking guns. A lot of stuff that gets me excited for a part of the game that I haven't really been all that interested in up until now. Controller blasphemy. Yo, controllers are comfy, man. Anybody who doesn't play with a controller, I'm sorry, but it is nice. It's like the difference between sitting in a sofa and sitting in a gaming chair. Like I'd like something that fits my hands a little better. My hands are not keyboard shaped. My wrists do not fold like the side of a desk. So I'd like to give them a little more cushion because they're busy. Think they changed next patch to 324 to just say they're still doing 4 quarters patches still. We're going to answer that here in a couple minutes, actually. Everybody who is here, I'm ending this stream short, but that's not because we're done today. We're going to go live again in about 10 to 15-ish minutes. I'm going to be jumping back on for a podcast episode. You can actually see it if you're on YouTube. You can see it scheduled already. I'll raid you guys in there. Don't worry about it. If you're on Twitch, just stick on Twitch. Don't go anywhere. It will start back up automatically for you. But we're going to be doing a podcast here in a couple of minutes talking about this update from 323.2 to 324, what the heck it means. My man Casa Black pays attention to the roadmap, so we'll be talking about how features have shifted around, what the year's looking like, the lead up to 4.0 and all that. So stick around and you'll have that answer questioned. I'm gonna stick with that one. You'll have that answer questioned. You started on controller for FPS, but you can't go back now. My plan is controller for all the basic stuff that I normally am going to be doing. Tractor beam, walking around, exploring, interacting. Mouse and keyboard is here when I'm ready for FPS, hardcore FPS stuff. And then I'm going to have a HOTAS that's also available for ship flight. Why not use 3? Live podcast for not supporters. Yes, hopefully the computers work with me and agree, and we don't end up having technical difficulties. Did I see the duct tape gun at the beginning? Yeah, I think that was, I don't think that's Star Citizen related though. I usually just use an Xbox controller, Xbox Elite controller. 323 was the first patch of the year. Yeah, we're not getting 4, I don't think we'll get 4 major numbered patches. Casa Black, hopefully we have answers. Hey dude, good to see you. We'll have answers. Question is, are they even accurate? Are speculations accurate? So if he is here, that means we're just about ready to go, folks. So I'm going to go ahead and on YouTube, I'm going to send y'all over. Let's see how I do that. Add stream worker, blah, 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 insert ad. How do I send y'all over there? There we go. Okay, like I said on Twitch, the stream will end, but if you stay right there on the channel, it will be back up pretty soon. Having the desk space for 3 peripherals can be difficult. Oh yeah, for sure. I am going to have the HOTAS mounted on my chair, the controller probably sitting off to the side, you know, just the mouse and keyboard. All right, folks, I'll see you in a bit. Thank you all for coming. We're about to get this podcast started and hopefully a good conversation about 324. Catch you in a couple minutes. Bye. It's awkward. The music ended.